Well, good morning, good morning. I'm Reverend Karen Einhaus. I am the spiritual leader of this community. I am still a munchkin. For those of you who were here last week, I had a t-shirt on that declared me as a munchkin. We had our youth and family ministry Sunday, and I love that service. Wasn't it an amazing service? Yeah. It was wonderful. Greetings to Reverend Laurie, who's on a well-deserved vacation. So here we are, June 18th. A lot of things are going on. We have heard today is Father's Day, and just this morning I got this meme that I have to share. I don't know if we can see it, especially for those. So for those who can't see it, it's this little girl wrote, "I love my dad," except she wrote it on his car with what looks like a screwdriver. But still, she loves him, so I just thought it was so funny. So happy birthday. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers here. I hope you have a fantastic day and don't have such a creative child. So many of you know I just came back from traveling in Germany. And I'm sure you can hear my accent. I know it's stronger. I'm going to speak a little slower so you can hear me and understand me. But I thought that summertime is really a great time for us to feel into this idea of coming home. And by show of hand, how many people live within walking distance to where you grew up? Oh, nobody. Let me see online. Nope, not a one hand went up. So if you regardless if you live just a couple 100 miles away from where you were born, or in my case, 7,500 miles away from where you were born, we all can take some time and really lean into this idea of how does it feel to come home? Of course, that happens to be oh look, there's my family. There's 4 generations. So that was fun to connect. Our annual theme is Every Path Leads Home. That is the annual theme that was born out of our survey. And for the last 6 months, we have talked about over and over that we can't do this wrong, right? We are all on the path to discover what is that thing we call home, and how do we integrate it back into our everyday life, regardless of how far away from where we originated we live. And I think that is comforting and important to remember. Home is something different for every person. We get to not only discover it, but we also get to define it. And as a center, as a spiritual center, we are supporting these 200 or so different paths that have been chosen to discover that place we refer to as home. And we came up with these 8 different ways of how we as a spiritual center are supporting that journey. And those swirly lines are for those ways that you have discovered for yourself of how to do that. For some people, it is traveling home to being with the people that we grew up with. For those of you who have not had the benefits of the 26 talks that we have already had on this topic, because you're newer to the community, and welcome to those of you who are here for the first time today, I wanted to let you know that we have archives on our website. And as a matter of fact, you can go in and watch all of those talks. But so today we are going to talk about coming home, the understanding that sometimes we journey very close together, right? Sometimes I'm thinking about when we are in classes together, you can always feel there's a group of beloved that come together and they're journeying close with each other on this journey towards home. And then there are times where we kind of go our own way, right? You know, somebody is more interested in this, somebody is perhaps working really on forgiveness, that's one of our paths, and veers off, or we do different things. But what I love about the New Vision Center is that this community, this living organism that we call the New Vision Center, that has been in existence for over 34 years, that it is so deep and so wide that each and every one of us is invited to find their own path in it. And that is true if you find yourself in the sanctuary today, if you hear this talk and sometime in the future, if you're always joining us online. This organization is so expansive that we can welcome in everybody. We don't teach you what to think, but we inspire to teach you how to think, how to change your thinking so that it moves you closer to this idea of coming home. And one of the ways that we do that is through centering exercises. Now, we recommend doing these every morning before you start your day. As a matter of fact, we have a 15-minute morning meditation every weekday from 7 to 7:15 Arizona time. And it is designed exactly for that, to center in, to take a moment and say, what is going on in my life right now? And so we are here together. We have nothing planned for the next 3 hours, right? Let's go ahead and do it right now. If you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes and just notice what you notice. Perhaps it is the air on your skin. Perhaps you notice that you're really not here, that you are thinking about something that's going to happen later, something that you heard, the traffic this morning. And as much as possible, I invite you to come into this now moment, right here. Just breathe in, perhaps inhale a little deeper. Even with eyes closed, become aware of who's sitting in front of you, next to you. And then choose to be here. Choose that when you open your eyes in a moment, that you are fully here, welcoming whatever comes. And so I invite you to open your eyes and notice that gratitude often helps us coming into this now moment. So we can be grateful for the air conditioning, grateful for being able to come together here and worship in however we see fit, recognizing what a privilege that is. And so all of these exercises that we do, all of the morning meditations, all of these invitations are truly designed for us to reconnect with Source, with Spirit, with God, with the infinite that is everywhere within and all around us. And that reminds me of that famous poem by Rumi. You probably have heard it. It's called The Guest House. I invite you to hear it as you hear it for the first time. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. I love that poem. It was written in the 1300s by Rumi. And it speaks to exactly that. If we choose, if we are able to come to a place where we choose to feel whatever is coming our way, that it is a blessing, even if it is a blessing in disguise. We are opening ourselves up to feel the divine that is all around us and within us more presently. So that's my first point. And when we can experience everything from that place, we are blessed. Now we quickly come to discover that coming home is not a one-time event. It is not, oh, I just had a moment of awakening. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, reminds me of the one time I worked out at the gym. You can still see the muscles from that. But rather, spiritual awakening is a continuous journey of awakening, of growth, of transformation. And when we travel, especially when we travel to be with those beloveds who know an earlier version of us, it brings up things. And I was looking for an illustration, and then I saw this advertising on TV. I don't know if you have seen it. I think it's an advertising for a medicine for some skin impurities. And so the actors, they are engaged in everyday things, and then they go like, ugh. And the skin that they would like to let go of, sits over there. And then, they're engaged, and then they do this, ugh. And I had this when I was traveling in Germany, especially in my hometown. It felt like I was walking by places where I had gone, I don't want that. I don't want that. And so I discovered incidents that I didn't want to have within me anymore. Now, the shamanic teachings, they explain it this way. They say, we arrive in the world complete. But as we move through life, we begin to energetically discard parts of ourselves. Can you relate to that? Are there parts of yourselves that you might have discarded? I know I have. And sometimes that is by choice. Sometimes it is maybe a characteristic of us that we really don't like, or a part of us that we just really rather don't have the world see, and we try to, pass it off. I know for me as a child, it was anger. I had anger and I couldn't deal with it, so I was trying to pass it off, to get rid of it. However, when we do that, we lose part of ourselves. So one way is when we're doing it by choice, when we're trying to let go of something. And the other part is, and this is what I found really interesting in this shamanic teaching that I looked at and studied for this talk, is that sometimes it's through no choice that our parts leave us. It is said that during traumatic experiences, pieces of our soul become so frightened that they scatter. And I thought about that, And I really leaned into that, and it rings true to me that there are times in our lives where something happens and we just can't integrate it yet. And we reject it. And so here we are, wherever you are on your physical journey, with having gone through a lot of times where we, threw away parts of ourselves. And the invitation is really this idea that the goal is not perfection, but wholeness. Let me say that again. The goal is not perfection, but wholeness. And what does that mean? It means that we are truly invited to gather all of the places, all of the parts that we have discarded at times, and integrate them back into our beingness. Last year, I started a new decade, and I made a pretty poster. And I called this decade my decade of integration. And I just had a birthday yesterday. Yeah, thank you. Fellow Geminis, I see a lot of you here. And yesterday I thought, darn, last year I made a pretty poster. It's really pretty. It says, my decade of integration, and it has on there what all I intend to integrate. So I thought, last year I made the poster. This year, I did the work. I did the work because it gets messy at times. It gets messy at times. This work of integrating all the parts back in can be very messy because it forces us to look at what did we discard and why. So the invitation when we are embarking on this journey is to do it with awe, with kindness, with compassion, with love, most of all for ourselves, so that we can integrate. God's calling, and she is saying, yes, you're right, Reverend Karen. So this integration work, we need awareness, a willingness, and perhaps a ritual. Perhaps taking a class could be one of those rituals, or meeting with a practitioner, or building an altar at home, and really becoming clear of what is it that I have discarded in my life of myself, and how can I bring that back in? So we recognize coming home is a continuous journey, and it is not a solo journey. It is not a solo journey. It is not something we just set out all by ourselves. We need, desire, must have our tribe, our people. It can be family, it can be a chosen family, it can be a spiritual community. It can be people that have the same goal. But we do need to have our tribe. Sometimes people literally journey together. And you have probably heard that we have, I think about 28 of our beloveds from this community are right now doing exactly that. They're journeying together, and they journey together to Bali, on the other side of this beautiful globe. And they send us a little greeting. So let's see if we can see that now.
One heart, one life, we are one family, one earth, and together we can make a difference in our world. Every creed and color, every boy and girl, all the creation, no separation, we are one heart.
look wonderful? They look so relaxed. I think this was on the second evening. Yes, and the theme is one heart. The theme is literally coming together in that heart space, feeling connected, being so clear that we truly are one. And so I was thinking about how can I provide an experience for us, for those beloveds who are here, who didn't go to Bali, how can I offer an experience like that? And I would like to do a little experiment. So if you're willing to hold somebody's hand, I am going to invite you to rise up if possible and form a circle in the sanctuary and hold hands. And if you want to rather sit down, then that's okay. And I'm inviting Rachel and Tom and a couple people here onto the platform. So we form a circle. We'll take a moment. We might need to expand it a little bit there. It has to be one circle. One circle, you will find out in a moment.
Ladies, you got to come up and catch up.
You touch here, and then if you feel over there, Dawn, and yep, you move over. For those of you online, we have probably about 65, 70, 80 people here in the sanctuary, and we're forming a circle. We're forming a circle to really feel part of this oneness. And you see this innocent-looking tube. And we will know if we are holding hands in a moment. Somebody is not connected. Brian, you got to hold hands. Thank you. Trudy, will you let go of your partner? Let go of one hand. Thank you. This is why we always say everybody matters. The energy cannot flow through it if there is one piece missing. Trudy, if you connect and if everybody else is still connected, somebody is not connecting. There you go. Oh my gosh, thank you. Feel that. And we can actually let go. I'm going to let go. And we can still feel it. Feel the energy making its way through. That is why we say everybody matters. It takes all of us. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right, we're going to have to put it back. Thank you, love. Don't you feel just all so excited when an experiment works? It takes each and every one of us. So all of this that I talked about really comes down to this. I think we have a slide for this. Coming home is not a destination, but a state of being. It is about feeling at peace, at ease, at home in our own skin. It is about being grateful for what we have, hopeful for what we can achieve, and compassionate for what is ours to give. It is about being present, aware, and mindful of the sacredness of this now moment. It does not have to be a big event. Every time we are willing to take a breath, to lean in, to recognize that I am one in the one, that right where I am, the divine is, and I know that for myself, as I know it for every person. If we give ourselves the gift of becoming aware of that, we have found home. I am so glad we are on this journey together. Thank you. So it is. And now we do what we what we do best here, and that is anchoring it in prayer. All of the good that we have discovered. So I invite the practitioners, the ministers of this teaching, our practitioner candidates, I invite all of us to stand and hold this consciousness, this awareness, this willingness to say, yes, yes, I believe this to be true. And so we recognize that there is one heart, one life, one power, one presence. It is love, it is the infinite, it is spirit, it is God, it is the universe, it is love, it is happiness, it is this now moment. It is beauty, it is life itself. And we recognize it in our own life. When we look into the eyes of the beloved, when we are with child, an animal that we have a deep connection to, when we sit with the beloved, we can recognize the allness of life in moments of sacredness. And so we let go of the mundane, we let go of whatever was on our heart, and we connect with this feeling tone of life. And it is from this place that I speak a word for all beloveds who are part of the New Vision Center, those who are in the sanctuary, online, who are in Bali, who are finding themselves in hospitals, in situations of challenge, in situations of great joy. Everybody. And I speak a blessing, knowing that the gift of light uplifts everyone. I speak a word of great gratitude for knowing that we don't have to pretend, we don't have to only show our shiny sides. We are loved by the divine and by each other for who we are. And so it is with a grateful heart, with so much love, that I call this time together good and very, very good, that I call this prayer complete. Place it into universal law, let it be. And so it is.